I have a confession. I have never raced a 5K the right way. Until hopefully today, and I will see if I can win the race if I manage to do it right for once. You probably know this feeling of approaching a start line, looking at the other runners. You start to get a bit nervous and think who will be fast and not. I immediately spot this guy wearing the Alphafly 2s and a proper club jersey. With a kit like that, either he's trying to cover up for bad training with expensive gear or he's fast. I draw the conclusion that he's fast and was going to be my main competition. But even seeing potentially fast runners like that, I was more confident than I usually am walking up to a start line, because this time I had really dialed in my racing strategy, and I will tell you all about it while going through this race, and hopefully it can help you do great in your next 5K.
Klar! God tur! God tur!
Right from the start of the race, the guy that I thought looked fast comes flying off the line, and immediately he gets a gap on me and the rest of the field. You see here, super early in the race, he already has a substantial gap. So why didn't I follow him, and how do I plan to beat him, letting him go this early? So the number one thing I've done wrong in most of my running races is that I start out too hard, ending up really struggling early on, and while keeping up the pace okay, still doing a positive split, meaning that the second half is slower than the first one. I'm pretty sure if you're a runner you have done this mistake yourself. And this not only will make your overall finish time worse, but it will also make the racing experience way more painful from an early stage. The pacing strategy of running in an even pace with a slightly faster last bit for a 5K is well known, and most fast races by the professional runners are run this way, doing a negative split, meaning that the second half is run faster than the first one. And this is nothing new to me, but still I have never managed to do it myself. So here I have gone out at a pace that I thought would be the perfect pace that I can withstand, and even turn it up a bit by the end of the race. And I'm not in my best shape coming off an ultra marathon where I got injured also and had a couple of weeks of bad training. So I decided that I was not going to run faster than 3:30 for the first kilometer. And that's why I let the leader of the race go so quickly, although I was feeling good. As you can see, I'm dropping even further back from the leader while maintaining the second spot in the race. And to be honest, I start to get worried that this guy will just continue to increase the gap. But I still have some confidence in my strategy, and I'm determined to actually pace this race the smart way for once. There I'm done with the first kilometer in 3:30, which is right on my target starting pace, and at this point I'm 15 seconds behind the leader. So this is what my pacing strategy looked like, that I hoped was going to make it possible to catch up with the leader, at least if he has made the same pacing mistake that I have always done in the past. The first 2 kilometers I plan to aim for a feeling where I feel like I run fast, but still I want to get to the second kilometer mark feeling good. This means I aim to run around 5 seconds slower than my goal pace for the first 2 kilometers. Here I clock in on my second kilometer at 3:29, still right on my target pace. And I have gotten a little bit closer to the lead as well, now I'm 13 seconds behind. Then coming into this third kilometer, I start to allow myself to feel a bit more pain and push a bit more, aiming for a pace right on my goal pace. And then for the second last kilometer, I want to be able to really start putting in the work and pushing through the pain to run some seconds faster than my goal pace. For the last kilometer, I just plan to run progressively as hard as I can, trying to ramp up the pace for every 100 meter and basically finish strong. So that is what I'm hoping to do here for the last part of the race. But the nature of this particular 5K course makes it a bit hard, because if the course is flat throughout, you can use this strategy and rely a lot on your watch to see your current pace and your kilometer splits. And this I could do for the first 2 kilometers that were flat. But this third kilometers has a lot of these sharp turns that slow you down, and it also has a pretty tough uphill part. So on this kilometer I will just have to trust my feeling, allowing myself to feel a bit more pain without burning out my legs completely. So even though I tried to ramp up my effort a bit for this third kilometer and get even closer to the leader, now I'm just 9 seconds behind. Due to the uphill and sharp turns, I still run my slowest kilometer yet with a 3:48. The uphill continues a bit more and I feel like I have gotten to the final 2 kilometers with a feeling that was just what I wanted when I planned out my strategy. Of course I'm tired pushing through this last bit of the uphill section, but I feel that I have more in the tank and I'm ready to push hard these last 2 kilometers to do a negative split and hopefully catch the leader of the race and fight for the victory. Coming up to this flat part, I feel that I have gotten closer to the leader again. At first some negative thoughts come racing through my mind saying that he's probably stronger than me, it will cost too much to catch up, maybe I'm a bit more tired than I thought, and so on. And it's so easy that these negative thoughts comes to you at this part of races, because of course I'm starting to feel it and my brain is trying to find excuses basically to slow down, while in reality I still have pretty much energy left in the tank. So I try to accept that these negative thoughts come, but then focus on the task at hand and that I am at this point not feeling completely dead and within striking distance of the leader. And this is the part of the race that I came for, and decide to basically give it my all and go for the win. I have ramped up the pace a bit and I'm quite quickly getting closer and closer to the leader. And on this downhill part I decided to do a push to close the gap without it costing too much energy. When I caught up to him, my tactic was to stay in his back for a while and then get ready to do an attack. My thinking is that if I increase the speed a bit more than is sustainable to keep the whole way, in this slight uphill he will be mentally defeated, thinking that he has no chance. So here I decided to just go for it, and I can feel that I immediately get a couple of meters, so I just try to push hard all the way to the top of this little hill. And I look back and see that he's still not that far behind, so from this point on I just gotta squeeze out what's left in my body, running as fast as I can the last part and just hope that he doesn't have another gear to kick in. The sprint I put in to get a gap and this downhill section makes the 4th kilometers my fastest yet with a 3:13 kilometer split. At this point I'm really tired, but I'm motivated by the feeling of finally being in the lead of the race and ready to fight hard to keep this position all the way to the end. It's first when I get to the last meters here to the finish that I can relax and know that my tactic and pacing paid off. I finished this last kilometer in 3:16, giving me a finishing time of 17:19. It feels super nice to actually get a win, and finally I managed to run a 5K the right way.